Well guys, here we are at the end of another harvest. Due to length, our last 2 days of harvest will be split into 3 separate videos. One of them obviously being released today. The next one will be released at noon on January 11th. And then for the very last episode of our harvest, we're going to do something special. We're going to do a premiere at 7 o'clock Central Standard Time on Thursday, January the 13th. But before the premiere, I will be going live at approximately 6:15 Central Standard Time to do a question and answering session, and I'll do that all the way up until 7 o'clock whenever the video premieres. So if you're a longtime viewer, guys, I really appreciate your support. Hope you've enjoyed all our harvest videos. We'll have plenty more videos coming out this winter with a wide variety of topics. If you're a new viewer just now turning in, some of the stuff in these videos may not make a whole lot of sense to you unless you've watched our previous harvest videos. So you might want to go around and look at those before you watch these. But anyway, guys, appreciate all your support, appreciate all the views. So without further ado, let's get started. All right, guys, here we are on the home stretch running towards the finish line. Last couple days of harvest 21. We got about 140 acres of soybeans left to cut. That's all we got to do to be done in the field this fall. So Zach's already out in the field getting the equipment serviced. All we got left to do is carry the combine and the semi truck out there, and we're gonna be ready to roll. We've actually got a really mild day, a little bit of a breeze blowing. There's actually quite a bit of humidity in the air. Kind of feels like a early October day rather than a mid-November day. So should be real good cutting conditions today, and if this breeze can pick up and last into the night, we should be able to get a whole bunch of acres covered today. Alright, first thing we gotta do is get moved across this intersection here. Oh, no traffic. I'll be danged. Imagine that. Wide load coming through. Alright, let me get all my settings changed. Close my concave. Close my sieves. Rotor speed, what's that? Oh crap, I gotta put my rotor back in second gear from where I was cutting the corn plot. Alright, let's try this again. Oh, shut up, good lord. Well, crap. I must hit neutral instead of gear. Alright, let's give this a shot. Seems like it's been forever since I cut some beans. See if I remember how. Oh, she's doing some rumbling. I know they can't be that tough. Oh, I figured out what the problem is. I adjusted the rotor gearbox to put it in second gear, but I did not bring my rotor speed back up at Apparently it does a lot of thumping at 400 RPM, whereas it should be 630, 650 RPM. All right, we got everything dialed in now. And get a spot cut out for the trucks.
Well, back to beans. I'm gonna take the truck out there. Yeah, I think we have 2 more days left, so rock on. That's all I got. Am I supposed to follow you?
Yeah, can you see me?
No!
Well, then you need to come find me.
I'm not playing this game the last 2 days, dude. I'm not doing it.
We should not be playing a game. You've been doing this long enough. You ought to know
You keep the combine in sight at all times, and when I get full, you come get my load.
First of all, that is rude, and we got to keep this PG.
16 years and I still can't read your mind, player.
It's not about reading my mind.
it's about your job is to keep the combine in sight at all times.
Yes, I'm going to need you to go ahead and put my job description on a laminated form and put that in the tractor for next season. Thank you.
I'll be sure to do that and put it right there on the windshield where you have a constant reminder at all times.
Like, you sometimes go around the edge of the field, or sometimes you go down the middle of the field, and then sometimes you're like, oh, look, squirrel! I'm going to go cut this piece over here. So yeah, I don't know.
It's pretty simple. If you can't see the combine, you're not in the right spot.
Oh, so I can get yelled at? Don't follow me, you're wasting fuel.
You're using the same amount of fuel just sitting there watching Hulu rather than following me around the field.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't watch Hulu while I'm driving. That would be you.
You lie.
No, I'm not watching it right now. Thank you.
I'm sorry, you must be Instagramming then.
Nope. I'm trying to research a heart monitor.
I'll check your Instagram here in a few minutes and see if anything new is posted.
The only thing new that's posted is that I'm looking for a good heart monitor because I gotta find one by the end of today. Because he's causing me to have a daggum heart attack.
Is that your story and you're sticking to it?
It's on my stories, so I'm sure you'll see that. Yeah, it's my story. I gotta spend like $500 on a freaking heart monitor that I need to wear for the
Put it in
next...
high gear, I'm full.
Ah!
Finally. Well, you remember how during cotton picking the turbo on our loader tractor went out, and well, it hadn't been a high priority, but I just remember this morning trying to get one ordered. And anyway, on the parts website, the page that lists all the parts and diagrams and everything for a T6010 New Holland tractor would not even pull up, like it's not even available. So anyway, I called the dealership, which I hate calling dealership without an actual part number. But anyway, I told them what I needed, and they did some looking. Finally called me back, said that there's no new ones to be had anywhere. They did find a one reman turbo in the system. No kind of aftermarket turbos to be found. So there's only one turbo for that tractor in the entire US. Now, I mean, turbo is a pretty critical piece. I mean, without it, your tractor is down. You can't operate the tractor. And it's all because stuff is just, the supply chain disruptions that you've seen in everything else. When it comes to agricultural equipment, it's not like we can do without this stuff. If our equipment can't run, we either can't put our crop in, we can't get it out, we can't tend to it, and we could potentially lose a year's worth of income because of being held up by one part. This supply chain stuff is pretty critical. And I mean, farming's not the only industry that's affected. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of other manufacturing industries that rely, on equipment, and if it breaks down and they can't get the parts to repair it, I mean, they're stuck. And the fact of the matter is that a lot of the manufacturing for parts and stuff is done overseas because of labor, and it's transitioned that way over the course of years and decades. And it's a proven fact that there's container ships and containers. I mean, multitudes of stuff sitting at the docks or sitting at the ports on the West Coast waiting to be unloaded and shipped, but because of governmental regulations with truckers and stuff, can't get trucks in to haul it, and shortages of labor on getting all this stuff unloaded. Government policies have put a lot of American industries at severe risk, and their solution to that is to find these shipping companies or the dockyards, so many dollars per container if it just sits there. I mean, that doesn't make any sense at all to me. This current administration, and I typically keep politics off the channel. I typically don't talk about it because it's really not. There's really no winning that battle. There's you're gonna believe what you're gonna believe, and it really don't matter what I say about it. And that's true. That's the way it should be. But the fact is that this administration, it would be bad enough if they just didn't get anything done. Everything was status quo. But it's like they're making policies that are leading us backwards and making things more difficult, less efficient. And us, the American people, don't matter if you're Democrat, Republican, Independent, all of us are going to feel the pinch of these bad policies, the lack of inaction, the lack of problem solving, and just making things more costly, more ineffective, more inefficient. This isn't something that's going to end in a year or 2 years. This is the ramifications of these decisions and policies by the government. This is stuff that's going to be felt over the course of probably many years. There is not going to be any overnight solution to solving a lot of these issues, and a lot of it stems from the fact that the world was shut down because of a virus that has like a 99% survival rate. That's the root cause of all of it, and then it is just being compounded by bad decision making at the federal level. Guys, I honestly don't know where we go from here. All right, that's enough political talk for one day. Heck, I don't even know if that clip was coherent. It's kind of hard to put deep thoughts together and concentrate on combining some tough beans. So hopefully I was able to kind of get my point across. And if you disagree with me, that's fine. I'm not trying to convince anybody of anything. I'm not going to press my views on you or anything. You believe what you want to believe. Do your research. I'm not trying to change anybody's views. I'm just expressing my own personal views.
Well, I got our first buggy of the day, and it was like 46,000 pounds. And I mean, it's doing really well. I mean, I'm not gonna say it, but maybe it had to do with the person who planted it. I mean, it's awesome to see your hard work come to fruition, so gotta pay them bills.
I'll meet you around by the truck. Is that good enough communication for you so you don't have to read my mind?
Sure, but I gotta get out and pee first.
He spoke too soon? Apparently there's a cable broke on the header for height sensor, so now he's trying to look up the part. That's why you never say you're done until you're done. You never say you're done until you're done. Done. So here we are, sitting here. It is what it is.
Yes, sir.
Hey, don't worry about dumping that truck. Just hop in the GMC and head to Brownsville. They got a height sensing cable down there, and just bring it straight out here to the field.
Okay.
All right, thanks.
All right, bye.
Bye. Well, crap. So much for having a good day. All right, come here and give me a hand. Whatever. Whatever. Come on. Come on. All right, what we got here is got my height sensing mechanism right here that gives me readouts, and got a cable here that goes to each side of the adapter, and it's broke on one end and it's making my header height act all wonky, not wanting to float up or down like it should, and leaving soybeans. And even though we're close to done with soybeans being the price they are, we can't afford to leave any out here. So I'm trying to get this yanked apart while Zach runs to Brownsville and gets the cable I need. I'm not really sure how this goes together, but I think it's going to be a pain in the butt to get back right again. Alright, after a long, aggravating replacement of what should be a simple cable, I think we're ready to try it out, do a header calibration. Alright, go to calibrations, header, okay, pulse header down, determining ground heights, pulse header switch up, determining range of header, sensor travel, and maximum feeder position. Pulse header switch down. Determining header feeder weight and threshold currents for feeder lift and lower value. Pulse header switch up. Determining lower 10% and upper 10% of header sensor travels. Oh look, my wifey brought me a goodie from the store.
Got to watch two black guys fight in the middle of Highland Avenue.
Nice.
Yeah, because one guy cut the other guy off, and then when he did, putting on his brake, all this garbage came out of his he was sitting there arguing, and everybody at the little general was watching these two guys ready to box in the middle of the damn road.
Okay.
It's quite entertaining.
Thank you. Still calibrating. Oh, just completed. Oh, shoot. God bless. Freaking center blew a hydraulic line on the freaking draper. Oh, I knew I got into it with a daggum grinder. What's that smart aleck comment you made?
Did you grind? Oh, look what you did. I knew it because you sat there and you said the F word. You knew you caught it. Why didn't you remember?
Because there wasn't any oil seeping out of it, so I was hoping that maybe I didn't cut through it, but
No, you did.
apparently I did.
You did.
God bless. You gotta be...
Oh, talk dirty to it. Is it caught on something?
Yeah. That cable we just put on.
Okay, hold on. Just chill out before you break that too.
Ah.
You just got a piece of metal on your finger, didn't you?
In my hand.
Well, why aren't you wearing gloves?
Here, wrap it around it.
Why aren't you wearing gloves?
There it goes.
Where'd you break it?
Right there, we got the freaking grinder in it whenever I was cutting that old Cable off. Well, it was already about to fail anyway. That's where I got in with a grinder. That's where it's rubbing on.
So you just helped it to its death.
Yeah.
Awesome. You still messed that up.
If he wouldn't have
I ain't
nicked
touching it.
if he wouldn't have nicked it with the grinder, it would have broke first day of wheat harvest next year.
Yeah, probably.
Or on the last round about 9 o'clock at night tomorrow night.
Last round, dude. Don't shh.
All right, I'm gonna sit here and eat my lunch, considering it's almost supper time.
I haven't eaten mine either.
Huh? All right, let's try this again. All right, center draper's turning. I don't see any oil just spraying out anywhere, so Zach's walking over to check things. All right, looks like everything's good. God bless. I absolutely hate hydraulic oil. It gets everywhere.
Well, look at that moon. That is pretty wicked. So after 4 hours of a breakdown, we're back to going again. So I find it funny because the first one was like the header height sensor cable, so that, you know, he had to take the grinder and grind it off. Well, while he's grinding, I hear what rhymes with truck and but an F word, and he accidentally nicked one of the hoses, and I was like, maybe it's not bad. Well, then we get the cable back on, and sure enough, yeah, he nicked the hose. So we got going about 4 o'clock. But the wind is blowing, so I'm guessing we're going to be working late. Go figure. But look at that moon!
Finally, at long last, I think we're running good. My header height is now working flawlessly, working better than it has in at least a year. I guess the performance of it just degraded so slowly I really didn't notice it. I knew that it wasn't acting right, but I thought it was a sensor, and finally when it just wouldn't even hardly go down today, I got down and investigated, and sure enough had a cable broke back in a place where you can't hardly see it. And anyway, now it is floating flawlessly, so I guess that's one more thing I can mark off my winter repair list that I had wrote down. Unfortunately, between that and then that hydraulic hose that I nicked with the grinder when I was cutting the cables off, because they were froze on there, we lost a good 4 hours. The biggest part of the dry part of the day cutting. So definitely not as far along as what I was wanting to be, but it's working and we're rolling, and the beans are yielding outstanding, up around 60 bushels an acre. So yields definitely haven't tailed off any, since we quit cutting our beans to go pick cotton. So really tickled to see that. And to be honest, I was actually a little bit worried about this variety of Pioneer beans. I never have planted it before. It's a brand new variety. It's a 5.4 maturity variety. So the longest we've grown, so it's the longest season soybean we've grown in a long time. It's a determinate type of soybean, whereas most of the ones we grow are indeterminate types of soybeans. And what that means is an indeterminate type soybean, it will start setting on pods as the plant is still growing vegetatively. Whereas a determinate soybean, it will get to pretty much its full height before it starts adding on any pods. And there's benefits to both styles. If it's an indeterminate type bean, if you hit a dry part of the growing season while it's setting on fruit, it can kind of pause, and then if you happen to catch a rainfall, it will then take off and start back growing again, adding more nodes that you can add fruit. Whereas if the same thing happens with a determinate type of bean, it can really stunt the plants. It'll go into reproductive mode, and it won't have enough nodes on the stalk to set a big kind of yield. Whereas the benefit to a determinate bean is that those are typically longer maturity varieties, longer growing season. They can capture more sunlight, and they have the potential to add higher yield. So, kind of a catch-22 with them. And anyway, it's been quite a few years since we planted the determinate bean, so really haven't seen, many varieties like that in the last several years. So watching it grow, it's kind of like, I don't know how much yield these things are going to set up. They just didn't look all that tall, and in fact, there are some really short places of beans here, like this spot right here. The beans are pretty short, and I just kind of like, I knew my other beans were going to be good. I wasn't too sure about these, but turns out they're yielding fantastic. So we've definitely hit an absolute. We haven't just hit a home run with our wheat and double crop soybean crop this year. We've hit a grand slam in the bottom of the ninth to win the World Series. That's what we're seeing off of the ground, where we had winter wheat planted and then soybeans following that winter wheat. I mean, this is something that it will surprise me if I ever top this again in my lifetime.